Hello, you are watching Cycle, MNB World's economic and business program. My name is Batsir Namsher. If you are interested in Mongolian economy, business environment and mining sector, please join us. Today we are highlighting Mongolian Stock Exchange. Mongolian Stock Exchange was established in 1991 as a vehicle to implement the government's plan for privatization of state-owned enterprises. In an attempt to ensure an equitable distribution of assets, the Mongolian government chose to implement a voucher-based scheme distributing vouchers for citizens that are converted to the shares of companies of their choice. 29 brokerage houses were set up to take orders from the public.
At that time, Mongolia was making transition from a communist state to the open market economy, and the Mongolian Stock Exchange was the hub for the economic transition. About 500 companies were privatized through Mongolian Stock Exchange.
Mongolia soon boasted the world's highest rate of share ownership. Family members were permitted to transfer their vouchers to each other, so not everyone became shareholder, but the peak number of shareholders was estimated at 1 million, or 43% of the population at that time.
And in my opinion, the stock exchange played a key role in the economic transition of Mongolia.
1991. Mongolian Stock Exchange was established. 1992. Primary market trading started. 1994. Securities law was adopted. 1995. Secondary market trading started. 1996. Government securities trading started. 1999. Top 75 index was introduced. In recent years, the trading volume hit the record high, accompanied by increased activity with successful IPOs and FPOs.
There are about 216 companies listed on the Mongolian Stock Exchange. They represent various sectors and industries such as mining, agriculture, manufacturing, services, financial services, and so on. And they also have various track record. For example, some companies have been established nearly a century ago, while others, fintech startups, for example, have been founded only 2-3 years ago. So I think that investors can find the products that they like, matching their investment profile and risk appetite among the various choices we have. Just to give an illustration of the opportunities the market presents to investors, we've had about 70% growth in market capitalization over the past 2 years and 60% growth in top 20 index, which is the main market index for Mongolian Stock Exchange. So if the investors tracked the top 20 index, for example, or if they pick certain companies in Mongolian Stock Exchange, they've had a growth of nearly 60 to 70% in their investment portfolio, which is an opportunity that is not very commonly found in more mature markets. I think it is an advantage of Mongolia as a frontier market for Mongolian Stock Exchange as well as for Mongolia as a general.
Mongolian capital markets' modern history starts from 2011, when the country had a mining boom, becoming the fastest growing economy in the world with 17.5% GDP growth rate.
The modern history of Mongolian Stock Exchange and of Mongolian capital markets as a whole started in 2011, because Mongolian economy grew 17.5% at that time, and it was the top grower in the world. And that actually reflected, that growth was reflected in Mongolian capital markets too.
At that time, government of Mongolia selected the London Stock Exchange as the strategic partner for the Mongolian Stock Exchange in order to modernize the stock exchange and develop the market in line with international standards.
And as the stock exchange, we have signed a strategic partnership agreement with London Stock Exchange, and result of that, the new market infrastructure, the Millennium IT, cutting-edge technology which is used by London Stock Exchange itself, was set up on Mongolian Stock Exchange. As part of that strategic partnership and modernization of Mongolian capital markets, we have introduced the new sets of rules and regulations as well as legal environment on the Mongolian market. The new capital markets law was introduced, as well as the new investment fund law was introduced on Mongolian capital markets in 2013. Subsequently, new sets of rules and regulations were introduced on Mongolian Stock Exchange and other market organizations at that time.
On February 22nd, the CEO of London Stock Exchange, Mr. Rathi, visited Mongolian Stock Exchange.
We're aiming to collaborate in the future in the following areas to develop the new products together in terms of facilitating dual listings and other new products on both markets, as well as promotion of Mongolian capital markets in London and to London-based investors, as well as capacity building for the local investors and professionals here in Mongolia. So thank you very much. Thank you. And let me invite you, Mr. Rathi, to deliver a short speech for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altai. Thank you to all of the colleagues at Mongolian Stock Exchange. It's an honor, pleasure to be here. My first time in Mongolia, certainly not my last time. And as you said, we have celebrated a partnership together for several years now in technology, in education, in developing new products. At the London Stock Exchange, Mongolia has a very special place. On display in the London Stock Exchange, we have so many Mongolian artifacts, from hunting bow and arrows to other special Mongolian gifts. So we very much value our cooperation together. We are here today also to talk about how we can take the partnership forward for the future. And as you said, we look forward to working with you on new products, on dual listings, on supporting access for Mongolia to the international investor market. In London, we have the largest global pool of international liquidity for markets like Mongolia. So we see a very natural opportunity for us to cooperate. We're very pleased that His Excellency the Ambassador for the UK to Mongolia is here today, and I think that is a signal of how important the UK government sees this partnership as part of the wider economic and trade partnership between Mongolia and the United Kingdom. So thank you very much for the invitation to be here. Thank you for giving us the honor of supporting the opening of the market, or the pre-opening of the market. And we look forward to many successful years of our partnership ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much. I mean, for me, it's really wonderful to have Nikhil here on this important visit. For us, the relationship between the London and Mongolian Stock Exchange is a really key element of the bilateral relationship between the UK and Mongolia, particularly in the trading and investment arena. As everyone knows, we have Rio Tinto based here in Mongolia, the largest investor in this country, and we also want to see this relationship between the two stock exchanges develop to the same extent. It's really important for us, and I'm really pleased to be here and really grateful to Nikhil for having come all the way to Mongolia, and as ever to Altai for his fantastic hospitality and support. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I wish both institutions the very best of luck for the future relationship. Thank you.
Thank you.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
London Stock Exchange is a strategic partner of MSC.
Yeah.
Please tell us about these relations and the results of your cooperation with Mongolian Stock Exchange.
Well, we have a long-standing partnership with our friends at the Mongolian Stock Exchange. We have built up a deep relationship over the last 7 or 8 years, working together to build capital markets here in Mongolia. We work together on technology. We have also worked to build capacity and education of the market here and the regulatory system to support Mongolia as Mongolia becomes a more international market, opening up to international investors. We're very pleased to hear that last year Mongolia had 5 IPOs, of one of the largest years for new companies coming to the market. And I think that is a sign of how the Mongolian capital market is developing under the leadership of the Mongolian Stock Exchange, opening up internationally. We're also very honored very regularly to host delegations from Mongolia at the London Stock Exchange to open our market and to speak to international investors. We have the largest pool of liquidity in the world for emerging markets based in London. And so coming to London and meeting investors is a fantastic opportunity to educate the world about the huge economic change taking place here in Mongolia.
How about the next area of your cooperation with MSC?
Well, we're very excited about the future cooperation with MSC, building on many years of working together. We see huge opportunity for new products to be developed here in the Mongolian capital market. In London, as well as equities, we see bond listings and listings of products like exchange-traded funds, and we would see it only as a matter of time before those kinds of products also come into the Mongolian market. Secondly, as the Mongolian economy is developing, privatizations and supporting access to capital for state-owned assets is clearly an opportunity. In London, we have supported local exchanges and international companies, international state-owned companies raise over $400 billion of capital from the international markets, always in close partnership with the local market. Just last year, we saw significant privatizations from Kazatomprom and also from Slovenia as well. So we see some very significant opportunities there. And always the markets are developing very fast. So thirdly, we see a big opportunity for capacity building, continuing to work with partners here to learn the latest in international standards, the latest in regulatory fields, so that the market here can operate in a world-class way to attract international investors. We're very pleased also that our partnership between the Mongolia and London Stock Exchange is supported by our two governments, the UK government and Mongolia government, and we see our partnership as cementing those strong economic and bilateral ties between the two countries.
2001, corporate bonds trading started. 2005, first IPO launched. 2011, Master Service Agreement was signed with the London Stock Exchange Group. 2012, Millennium IT Integrated System was introduced to Mongolian capital markets. 2013, the revised securities market law was adopted. In 2018, the first dual listing was introduced to the market. Toronto-listed Earton Resource Development Corporation listed 4 million shares worth 1.2 million Canadian dollar on the Mongolian Stock Exchange.
And also let me briefly provide you with the highlights of the last couple of years. One of the significant things, significant events which happened on Mongolian capital markets was facilitation of the first dual listing. Earton Resource, a Toronto-listed company, came and issued their shares on Mongolian capital markets.
Please tell our viewers about your company.
So our company started in Mongolia back in 2004 as a mineral exploration company focused on copper and gold exploration. And over a decade, we've been exploring for gold and copper, and largely focused in the area of southwestern Mongolia, Bayan Hungor. And we have made some significant discoveries there, 2 deposits we call the Bayan Hyundai and the Altan Nar projects. And they're now moving into the production development, pre-development phase. And we're expecting to be moving towards gold production in 2021. about a year ago, we began the formal process working with the FRC and the MSC, and that led to the listing in June. And yeah, so it was a very very active, significant project for us to undertake to be the first to list on the MSC.
In my opinion, that company will be followed by many other companies because
we have about 20 such companies that are listed overseas but have operations in Mongolia. So we are hoping to have more listings as such, and we've actually started talking to them, and a number of companies have expressed their interest to be listed through a dual listing procedure.
Besides the facilitation of the dual listing, one of the key things which have been done on Mongolian market was issuance or IPO of two insurance companies, Mandal and Ardatal.
I'm very glad to be taking part in the first ever for me MNB's English broadcast.
As a result of all that, other players of the financial market is coming to Mongolian capital markets, and in turn there will be the first institutional investors in the Mongolian market.
In the last 6 months, we've done 2 IPOs of our subsidiaries. One of them was an insurance company. I can see that it is trading it today very actively, and today we were happy to announce an IPO of Art Credit. $5,000 shareholders currently are engaged with Art Financial Group, one of through Mongol Post, through Art Insurance, and through Investor Nation, which are all listed vehicles on the Mongolian Stock Exchange. So one day I hope we'll be able to really say that we have 100,000 shareholders, 1 million shareholders, and I would like to have a problem of actually not being able to find a location to organize my shareholder meetings.
In 2015, Mongolian Stock Exchange became a self-regulatory organization. 2016, state privatization through an IPO was conducted on the Mongolian Stock Exchange. 2017, Mongolia's largest to-date corporate bond was issued successfully. 2018, MSCA and MSCB indices were introduced.
So Mongolia is a mining economy, as you probably know. So we have some very big world-class projects, mining projects, such as Oyu-Tolgoi as well as Tavantolgoi. So Oyu-Tolgoi and Tavantolgoi projects, such kind of strategic assets, have the potential to be listed in the stock market. To give more example, Irknis Tavantolgoi is one of the big strategic mining projects that Mongolia is currently undertaking, and it has distributed about 1,000 shares to all the citizens. So essentially every Mongolian national is a shareholder to that company, but the company hasn't yet listed on the stock exchange. And the company is aiming to do international as well as domestic listing in the near future. Starting with Irknis Tavantolgoi, we hope to list other strategic mining assets such as Oyu-Tolgoi and so on in the future. These strategic mining assets will expand their market capitalization several times and is going to serve as an incentive for foreign investors to explore the market and come invest into Mongolia.
Thank you for joining us. It was Cycle MNB World's economic program. My name is Batsir Namshir. See you next time.